Bournemouth come from 3 goals down at home to beat Luton Town 4-3. Football, eh?
Incredible, Gab. I mean, I never thought I would see Luton scoring 3 goals like that in the first half away at Bournemouth. And even if I thought, okay, Bournemouth are going to play better in the second half, I never thought that they could come back like that. I think I looked it up. It's only the 11th time in Premier League history that a team 3-0 down wins, but only the 3rd time where you're 3-0 down at half-time and still manage to win, at home or away from home. Incredible. Well done to Bournemouth. For Luton, I'm just not sure how you recover from this, because you would have thought, okay, this is great position. Had they won yesterday, they would have been
head-to-head.
Yeah, and they would have been level with Forest as well, who they play this weekend at home. So massive game, even maybe bigger than the one at Bournemouth. I don't know, but I just hope for them they can psychologically recover more than anything else, because losing like that must be really, really hurtful.
And look, I know Bournemouth aren't safe, and I think we know people at the club would be very angry at us if we said they were safe. But realistically, 3-0 down at home, it's cold, live to fight another day, right?
Yeah.
Like getting that reaction, finding it to go and win the game, I don't think that's something that should be underestimated.
No, I agree.
For granted.
I agree with you completely.
Ederson will miss up to 4 weeks after getting himself injured against Liverpool at the weekend. Jules, a big deal?
I think it is. It's going to be tight for him to make the Arsenal game, which is 31st of March. So in just less than
definitely
3 weeks.
Out for the Newcastle game in the magic of the cup on Saturday.
The magic of the cup that you love so much. We said that Stefan Ortega is a good goalkeeper. He is not as good as Ederson, for sure.
You said.
He's a good goalkeeper. Yeah, it is a blow. Also, Kevin De Bruyne has been called up by Belgium, but he's not going, supposedly, I guess, because maybe he doesn't really fancy the 2 friendlies, or just he's not fully fit, which is also a possibility.
By the way, if he's been called up and he's not going, unless the rules have changed, it means he can't play against Newcastle.
No,
if Belgium want to be mean about this. Okay.
Unless he's not in the squad, so he hasn't been called up. My bad. I thought he had been called up, and they said no. Right. He hasn't been called up by Tedesco, probably because he's not fit. So let's see if he plays this weekend or not.
The Times reporting today that Brighton, who face Roma in a few hours in the Europa League, fear that Roberto De Zerbi is disgruntled and may leave in the summer. Jules, are Brighton right to be concerned?
I think so. We saw him after the Roma first leg criticizing quite heavily the ownership and Tony Bloom, like I've never seen him doing before, or not many people for this matter before. He's moaned before about the fact that he had young players, and it's not easy with young players. You have a lot to teach them. There's injuries. There's the fact that they're not doing as well as they did last season, of course, but it was always going to be difficult to follow last season, adding Europe this year. So I can understand why. And also, I think he knows that if you look at the summer, if you're a manager and a successful one, highly rated one, that a lot of top clubs are going to look for a manager. Okay, Liverpool and Barcelona, maybe the 2 highest clubs, Bayern Munich as well, Napoli potentially, maybe even Juve, maybe even Milan. And suddenly there will be a lot of doors potentially opening for you. So I think if I was Brighton, I'd be really worried, yeah.
I have 2 points to make here. First, when you see a headline in a newspaper which says, Brighton are worried, blah, 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 I think I'm not lifting a lid. I don't know for sure, but I'd be very surprised if this didn't come directly from the club. And then you can read into it, is it Brighton preparing themselves for the eventuality? But it's clearly Brighton that have put the story out, right? Yeah. It's not De Zerbi saying, oh, look, they're worried, I'm going to leave, right? Secondly, to Roberto De Zerbi, who I think is a phenomenal coach and who I really like as a person, I'm sorry, I got to put the boot in now. You knew what this club's model was. You knew how they operate. You knew this going in. I'm going to say to him the same thing I said to Jose Mourinho, right? You knew what restrictions they have. Okay, so January comes around and they don't go and strengthen the squad or whatever, and then you have injuries and now you're short on players. Fine. But you knew that this was going to happen. They didn't say, oh, look, we're going to turn into Newcastle or Manchester City overnight and strengthen the squad in January because we're determined to win the Europa League because we're ambitious. No, you knew this. Yeah. You knew this, and you were okay with it. You can't come out. If you want to come out and say, hey, we don't have the experience in Europe, fair. We don't have a very big squad, plus we've had a bunch of injuries, Hinshelwood, Mitoma, Solly March, whatever, fine. But you can't in any way send the message, I think, that the club should have spent money in January.
Yeah, no,
They didn't. They didn't, and you knew that this is their model. And you knew that this is their reality. And they did, by the way. They got Ansu freaking Fati. I wonder who signed off on that one.
Yeah. Michael Edwards is back at Liverpool. Gab, how big is this news?
I think it's really big. Look, I don't necessarily believe in like the holy man, genius, messiah thing. I think we over-egg that. I think there's always a team and a system behind it. But then again, this guy was there for 10 years. He built this very successful side that Klopp then took to win significant things in very difficult times, because up against a Man City that, has all the resources and a tremendous manager and a tremendous organization as well. So he took his time off. He decided to come back. We understand that it's with expanded football powers. I think that really matters in terms of continuity, because obviously Klopp's leaving. I don't think Salah and Van Dijk, we don't know, but I don't know that they're going to be here, at most maybe another year after this one.
Yeah,
after that, who knows? So I think you need to maintain that thread. FSG not involved in the same way that they were before when Mike Gordon was here. So he really is that link, and I think it's really important to have that.
Yeah.